Hey guys, you haven't heard from me because there's not a lot to report on. Just a lot of BS. Rosa still hasn't gotten an answer back from the judge. That's the attorney in Tampa. Is trying to get a judge to reopen the market on it. This fee stuff, it makes no sense. Every brokerage is trying to charge a different fee. They're all over the place. There's a theory out there that they're trying to gather up more money, because this is going to cost them. It's a ridiculous theory. All these fees are not going to cover for all the money that they're going to owe on all the shares that they don't have. They can't register. They can't possibly register all the MMTLP shares. I've seen calculations as low as 350 million shares over and above the 160 million. I'm seeing a lot of calculations showing between 500 and 600 million shares over, which I have a tendency to believe that math more. I really do believe there's 600 million extra shares out there, or maybe a total of 600 million. I forgot which I was looking at. I'm good at the math when I do it on paper, but then remembering it. The reason for the fees, I think, is to try to scare people away to not register so that they can have millions of different QSIPs to try to confuse the whole problem. They are struggling hard in coming up with all these ideas of how to keep this secret and how to distract. In a million different QSIP numbers and a million different brokerages. That's kind of how to do it. But they know that they have to push it over to AST at some point. It's more than obvious at this point. It doesn't take that long to figure out, how to put stuff in AST. They're acting like this is a big deal. And now a lot of these agencies, brokerages, are telling people that they have until the 20th to register. In order for you to register, you have to pay this outrageous illegal fee. Now, we were promised when we bought it by the brokers, right? Because they sold it to us. Right? They knew that this whole thing was getting transferred around and that it would be private because it was all in the S1. And yeah, most of these agencies have some fees for these things, but if you go and look at their normal fees, some of these agency brokerages are saying, there's special conditions of why they're charging so much. There's millions and millions of shares out there of people that didn't even know about this last year, like a lot of us, that just started buying in October, November, December. Hard-working Americans that are, trying to save $50, $100 here and there. When they look at their shares, they're a lot lower than where some of our shares are at. And now they're asking themselves the question, like the one agency wants $250, another one wants $230 to transfer. But if you don't transfer, they're going to keep it in they're going to keep it in their internal numbers or whatever. But it sounds to me like if you don't register, then you're just kind of in a limbo situation where you're not going to be counted with the rest of the shares. I don't know. I don't think they legally can charge what they're trying to charge in one hand. On the other hand, I'm thinking that if we don't pay their ransom and get all of our shares accounted for, we can't force their hand. And we need to force their hand to have them admit that, okay, even though we just charged millions of dollars worth of fees here, we really don't have the certificates to give you guys. we don't really have, all these shares that we promised that we would have. I don't think you're ever going to get them to admit that. We're going to have to force it out of them, by continuing on with the pressure. The problem being is you got some of the YouTubers that are acting like this FINRAFRAUD thing is still, it's everyone's hearing about it. No, actually, it's been dying down. The shorts and the hedge funds are winning on the aspect of we're not getting enough coverage on this. Yeah, there's a couple little hopeful things going on out there, and that have been giving us a little more attention than others. And then there's that other report, if you guys listen to, with the guy that's going on and on negatively about what a piece of crap investment MMTLP would be. But he's finally admitting there was fraud. There's some kind of fraud. Actually, there's a bunch of YouTubers that were dead against. I mean, just were acting like we were all a bunch of idiots that are now saying, okay, well, there's some legitimate fraud here. Not some. There's a lot of fraud here. And they are scrambling around with these QSIP numbers, which I can't, I have no idea how many QSIP numbers there are now with different brokerages. It's just freaking ridiculous. You know, and it's all a sleight of hand type thing where they're trying to distract everyone from the reality of the simple math here, which is that there's 165 million shares available, and they can't register all them, and now they want to soak this for as much money as they can, or try to scare people into not registering, so that they'll, you know, there was no talk of paying any type of fees at the beginning of this. You notice that? Now all of a sudden there's, we wait another week or two, and now there's these fees, and you know, this is just completely getting out of hand at this particular point. We're all going to need to do what we need to do to force their hand. They need to acknowledge that there is a lot more than 165 million shares for starters. We need that judge in Tampa to make a decision here. I don't know what he thinks he's holding on or waiting on for. If he doesn't make the decision, no one else will. What is that saying about evil? All it takes is for good men to stay silent. You know, it isn't just FINRA or these other agencies, the government agencies, the non-government agencies. It's a whole bunch of people turning and looking the other way, and it's just pathetic and sad. And the thing being is that there's so many people that have known about this type of fraud for so many years, and it's like they think they're all protected here. Everybody just will keep passing the buck. The fines that will be given out will always be minuscule. A little slap on the hand. When there are people that can speak up and that can make a fuss here and make sure the proper people go to jail and never do this again to another person. You know how many people during the course of this that made this as a final investment, you know, to try to accomplish something here, like before they die, maybe they're terminal, that probably already, some are already dead. Some of the rest of us may be dying this year as they're jerking around. You know, enough is enough here. Everybody needs to be